Welcome to the Daily with Haley. Of course, I'm your host, Haley, and I look forward to you tuning in today to get your daily dose of encouragement. Hi, friends. I just wanted to start this episode by saying thank you. Oh my gracious. I have been completely overwhelmed in such a positive way about all of the feedback, all of the comments. You guys are seriously awesome. I really hope that you will continue to listen in and get your daily dose of encouragement. I am just beyond grateful for each and every one of you, and I truly, truly value you, and I could not do this without you. So thank you guys for being such awesome listeners. So today we're going to talk about unleashing anger. I know, interesting topic, right? So we are going to talk about this, and before we do, I'm going to pull up here on my phone a story that I came across on Facebook probably, I would say, a couple of weeks ago. And this was very interesting to me because I had honestly didn't even know things like this could happen, but, apparently they do. And so as I'm scrolling on the Facebook, I saw there was it was kind of a weird picture, so I'm kind of honestly surprised that I stopped and looked at it, but it was a snake wrapped over a saw, like a hand saw. Okay, so I'm going to read to you what it says, and then we'll start the episode. It says, there was a snake that crawled over a sharp saw and was cut. In anger, the snake wrapped the saw with its thick body and proceeded to squeeze the life out of the saw. With each angry squeeze, it felt more pain, but continued because it wasn't going to let the saw get away with the pain it caused. The snake, refusing to let go of the saw, eventually died. Not knowing the whole time he needed to let go of the initial pain and focus on its future and where it was going. Instead, the snake unfortunately lost its life and didn't even see it coming. Wow. Okay, guys. Seriously, wow. When I read this, I just was like, this, first of all, wow, that, I'm still right now, I'm like just word fumbled because every time I read it, I just can't imagine being so angry. But let's be real, we've all dealt with anger. We've all experienced anger, and sometimes we can experience it where it is so uncontrolled, and we feel like there's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do. We're just going to be angry, and that's how it's going to be. Okay? I mean, I know I'm not alone in that. We've all been that angry. And I'm not saying that it's good to be that angry, but I'm just being honest, and I'm being real here, that we have all dealt with a very, possibly a very serious act of anger, and we may have harped on it longer than we should have. And so the first thing I would like to say is that when we are angry, and I say this all the time, and I have to remind myself this very frequently, he who angers you controls you. And this is very obvious in this example here with this snake. He who angers you controls you. And I say that because think about it like this. When we allow anger to overtake all of our other emotions, we've then allowed anger to essentially control how we're acting. And so when we let people or things get in our mind and let all that anger in, we're saying, okay, throw it in the towel. I'm giving in. I'm going to be angry. So, and that's what anger wants us to do. It wants to win. And so we don't let go of this anger for the benefit of the other person, guys. So that's what I want you to think about too. We don't let go of this anger because we want to make that other person happy or feel like they got away with whatever they did. No, 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 no. We let go of anger for us. We let go of anger for us. And I know that's really hard to wrap our minds around, because it is really hard in that moment of anger to say, okay, I'm not going to be angry, because then essentially what can happen in the human flesh, we say, okay, well, when we give in and we are not angry, that other person or that thing or the situation that hurt you, you almost think it says, no big deal, you can keep hurting me and I'm going to be fine. But in reality, just like this snake, when we hold on to that anger, we are literally strangling other emotions. Think about it. This poor snake wrapped itself around the saw, okay? And the more angry he became at this saw, the more angry he became at this situation, the tighter he grabbed a hold of it, okay? And eventually he died, guys. He died from this anger. And I've talked about it in a previous episode about a little bit about anger and just kind of how when we deal with certain aspects of life, we can really be angry at God. And I feel like, God's really laid on my heart to talk about this anger, because I feel like that's what can happen, is we are sometimes wrapping ourselves so tightly around that anger, we cannot even see what God's doing. We can't even see God's goodness because we are so fixated on that anger. And it's human nature, guys. I'm just as guilty. But we cannot let this anger take control over us and take control over our emotions. Because what happens is, as this anger continues to set in and continues to build, it not only then affects you, it then also affects everyone around you, because you are going to be and act a different person because you're so angry. Think about it. I know I'm guilty. If I've had a bad day, when I go home, I'm not angry to the random person. I'm angry to my husband, to Iggy. And I don't necessarily mean to be angry, but that's the first person I see, because I didn't grab hold of my anger. And so when we don't grab hold of our anger and we continue to let it get tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter, it takes over us. And it takes over all of our other emotions, guys. And so I don't want you to think that I'm saying that it's wrong to be angry, because it is an emotion, But it's all about how you deal with your anger. Are you going to get angry, talk yourself through it, and let it go? Or are you going to get angry and continue to hold on to that anger and then eventually let it take over your other emotions? Something God laid on my spirit as I was praying and preparing for this episode was that I want you to picture anger as a fire, okay? So, funny moment here. Let's think about, trying to start a fire, all right? Lord knows I'm from the country. Bonfires we do all the time, and sometimes it can be really difficult to start a fire, okay? But once that fire gets started, it started, right? It started pretty good. And you have to be intentional to put it out when it first gets lit, or it's not going to stop burning for a long time, right? So think of this. The fire is lit, okay? So in our situation, anger you've experienced it. You have it, right? You choose not to let this anger go, okay? Something else occurs, maybe the same situation, and it's added a little more flames to the fire, okay? You choose not to let this go. Another situation happens that's added to the fire. The fire is now spreading. The fire is getting bigger, okay? You still choose to not let it go. Another endeavor happens, maybe that same thing, and adds flames to the fire. This fire is now uncontrollable, and it is taken over where it was, okay? So in order for the fire to get under control, you have to maintain it and let it, or not let it, but put it out in the beginning. Okay? Now, I know that this is not easy. This is not easy because especially when it's the same people that continue to hurt us and continue to make us angry, it's not easy. But I want you to, in your head, imagine that snake wrapped around that saw and say, you know what? I'm not going to allow this person or this situation to literally take the life out of me. I'm going to choose to deal with the anger in a positive way, whether that's taking a moment to go take a walk or to go take a bath or whatever you need to do, and say, I'm not going to let this fire build to be uncontrollable. So, I am not in any way, shape, or form disregarding what has happened to you or who hurt you. But what I'm trying to get you to see here is that in order for us to take hold of our anger, we have to learn to serve our emotions and to not let our emotions serve us. I don't want you guys to walk around each day being angry and feeling defeated and feeling like you're just getting tighter and tighter around that saw. No, absolutely not. We are not called to be angry. We are called to be God's people, right? God doesn't want us to be angry. He doesn't want us to live in that state of anger. So I ask you, if you are in a state of you guys, if you're in a state of anger, why have you not let that anger go? Have you prayed about it? Have you asked God to maybe help you identify the root of the anger and to help you work through that anger? Because truth be told, if your fire is real big and it's real uncontrollable, it's going to take some work. It's going to take some work. But you can do it. And once you accomplish it, you're going to say, I'm not going to feel that way again. I'm not going to allow anger to serve me. I'm not going to allow anger to control me. Because God is in control and not your anger. So guys, I encourage you today to walk in joy. Walk in joy, not anger. I will be praying that this message will speak to you and that God can help you let go of your fire and to burn out your fire. And guys, I pray that you see your worth, and your worth is so much greater than anger. I love you guys so much, and I hope you have a really great day. And I really hope you'll tune in tomorrow for tomorrow's episode. I love you, friends. You are the bomb.com.